We are Rob and Kathy, and these are our adventures in our Avon Applause 500 camper van, Serenity. Good morning viewer, welcome to day 14. This morning we are off to the Lisbon Aquarium, which is the biggest aquarium in Europe and the second biggest aquarium in the world. It will involve a train trip, some walking, and then we'll be there. And I'll catch up with you then. That was quick. Here we are. Here's something you don't see every day, a recyclable sea monster. All made from recycled bottles. The main tank holds 5 million litres of seawater. It is 7 metres deep, which allows pelagic swimmers to swim above the bottom dwellers. There are over 100 species from around the world, including sharks, rays, barracudas, gropers, and even an ocean sunfish. And we stopped for morning tea. Afterwards we took in the cable car ride, which followed the riverbank for about half a kilometre I think, and then came back showing some really interesting views of Lisbon and the harbour. The weather had started to close in, but we had expected that today. The Vasco da Gama Bridge is particularly fascinating, and I'd been trying for days to get a decent picture of it and failing dismally, so in the end I bought a postcard and we can see it quite well. Hello viewer, getting a bit of culture this afternoon, and we're at the Lisbon Museum. So we'll wander through and have a look and see what it offers. These pots range from a few hundred years BC to the 1st century AD, and found in this and many other regions of Europe. This is a funeral headstone, shrines, and a bowl for your ashes from about the 1st century AD. Still looking at after death. These are some headstones. This carving depicts the coat of arms of Lisbon. The crows on it protected the ship when it was coming back with St. Vincent's remains. And this is St. Vincent with his crows. This is a rather geographically challenged painting of the Belém Tower. Don't remember it being that far out to sea. And then we came to this display, which was a really good representation of Lisbon before the earthquake. Hope you enjoyed looking at the museum. It's very difficult really to get across in a short space of time what kind of exhibits a museum holds, but it was very interesting, and interesting to see some pictures and depictions of old Lisbon. And that sums up day 15. We left the museum, had some lunch, and then it was a frenzy of souvenir and present buying that took us up to dinner time and a relatively early night. See you tomorrow. Good morning. Reasonably certain it's Wednesday today. Coming towards the end of our trip, but today we're heading on the commuter ferry across the river to the suburb of Casillas. We'll have a look around there, and also we can get up to the Christ the Redeemer statue. So it should be quite an interesting day and plenty to see. We'll let you know how it all goes. Well, we've made our way down to the ferry terminal. Here comes our ferry. 10 o'clock and we're pulling out. Apparently the trip takes about 15 minutes. And here we are, across the river. Already has a different feel to Lisbon proper. And here's our bus to go up to the statue. There is the doors. Well, we're on our way on the bus, and more flats. One thing I've found is bus travel in Lisbon is tedious. You're permanently going through very narrow roads, windy roads, stuck at traffic lights, waiting for trams. It just takes forever to get anywhere. But then we finally caught a glimpse of our destination. Well, here we are. Christ the Redeemer. You really can see Lisbon laid out before you. We decided not to take on the bus on the return journey, and for €10 we hired a tuk-tuk. Always adventurous, and you can certainly get a unique view of the town. Back down at the docks, and here's a submarine and a sailing boat. Don't quite know their stories, but we'll see if we can find out. What's the name of the ship, do you know? The ship is the last exclusively under sail ship of the Portuguese Navy and the last vessel of the Indian Run, which was performed for over 3 centuries between Portugal and the colonies in India. We enjoyed a tour below decks, seeing the cannons laid out and the crew's quarters. It was most interesting. The submarine, we found out, is going to be an attraction in the future but isn't completed yet. Good morning. Well, it's our last full day here in Lisbon. We've had a slow start to the morning and we're off to an art gallery museum for the morning, spot of coffee, lunch, and then the afternoon's going to be boring things like packing and getting ourselves organised to go home. Here we are at our museum. We think.
We know. We do know.
I think this is some installation. It's more of an art gallery than a museum, and these are featuring Portuguese artists. The most disturbing display about school shootings. The faces are all superimposed over the top of newspaper articles dealing with the topic. Well, we had a quiet afternoon. We had lunch back at the flat. We've done some packing. I've done quite a bit of editing, and now it's our last evening and we're out having one last walkabout. Dinner out at a nice vegan restaurant we've discovered, and right now we're getting gelato. How good is that? Here we are again at the waterfront, and you just really get that idea of the continual flow of tourists. The next groups come in doing their yellow bus tours, seeing all the sights. Cheers. We're back from dinner. It's getting real. The bags are packed, or mostly packed. Alarms are set for 3 AM, taxis at 4, and we'll be at the airport before we know it. Well, it's 3:25 on Friday the 14th of October, and we're just about packed and ready to go out very early to get picked up to the airport. And it's occurred to me we haven't done a tour of our flat, so let's do so. We'll start off with the hallway and our impressive looking front door and lock. We go down the hallway to the bathroom. Very nice fetching shade of black. Out of the bathroom and into the kitchen, which served us very well. Nice pole in the middle for our pole dancing practice. Coming out of the kitchen, we go to our bedroom. Quite a reasonable size. Good insulation on the windows to keep the noise out. Hold on. We go down the hall once more. Alex's room. There's Alex just to prove it. Another good sized double bedroom. And one last room to go. This is the lounge room come editing suite. We didn't watch a lot of Portuguese television. And that has been our flat for almost 3 weeks. Here it comes.
I left the apples on the door. 4 leftover apples. Someone will have them.
Off we go, final leg. Taxi's down the end of the street. Progress report, Lisbon Airport. Bags are checked in, through security, and now we're waiting for breakfast. All the worst parts are done. It's nearly 2 hours until we board, so just sit and relax now. Back in Sydney, everything's done, longest flight in the world. There's Kathy ordering some coffee for the trip home. I'll talk to you later. Well, hello viewer. As you can see, we're back in Australia on the Central Coast. We had a marvellous time in Lisbon. It was great, a real eye-opener to a very old European city. Thoroughly enjoyed ourselves, walked ourselves ragged, but it was a great time. We saw an awful lot. Some things to take into account about Portugal. Some things that are hard to get. Baked beans, barbecue sauce, raspberry jam, salt and vinegar chips, surprisingly decent coffee. The real stuff of life. Something that you can get. Sardines. You can get any form of sardines and sardine related products. Well, as I said, we had a great time. I hope you've enjoyed following us, and there'll be more to come of our other adventures. Thank you, and see you later.